So for the month of February, the month of love, I found some TikToks of parents showing love to their kids in pretty unique and encouraging ways. So I thought I would talk about them today. So let's get right to it. And as always, these are TikToks of people that I just randomly found. So if I say something that's incorrect about the family, feel free to leave a correction down below. It is not done intentionally. So for the first video, there's a mom having a dinner conversation with her 18-month-old, and they're just chit-chatting, and I really love how mom is listening so intently, which non-verbally communicates to the baby, you matter. And this is so important, that we're not just blabbing their ear off and talking, and it's not one-sided of a conversation, but there's a back and forth reciprocity there. And overall, she's creating very positive, relaxed environment to help her baby to open up. In general, with conversation, you want to either make a comment or ask a question. Either one of these things is going to show that you are engaged in the conversation, you are invested, and you genuinely care about what they have to say. In this video, you have Miss Molly, who's actually a speech therapist herself, with her daughter or niece. I don't know who she is. Again, I apologize. She's going through the entire hierarchy of feeding therapy. Now, the whole process from the moment where the child sees food on a plate to the point where they put it in their mouth, there's a lot of things happening. And I know you just think, oh, you just chew it up and swallow, which, mind you, like, swallowing itself has 4 stages, and it's a lot of things happening. So feeding is a whole big, not just, physiologically, but mentally, cognitively, sensory. There's a lot going on. I know that as kids, we were told maybe to not play with our food, but with kids with aversions or restrictions in their food, it is only with playing with their food that they're going to basically desensitize. Allowing them to explore these in a very safe way is a way of supporting their needs and showing them love, because you're basically telling them, I see you, I can see that this is really hard for you, and I understand because it's a new food. They can't help themselves that with a new food, they're getting feelings of fear and anxiety. I mean, it's not like they can control that. It's not like they chose to have these feelings. And I know there's a lot of strategies that parents can use. Like, I saw this one video where a child had a plate. It had little divots, and the design was of a game board. And it was really cute, actually. It kind of reminded me of Candyland. And so it motivated them to actually complete their entire meal. This is another way that parents can show their kids love and support, by acknowledging their struggles and aversions and fears and anxieties with food, and meeting them where they're at, and supporting them through this. And that way the kids get what they need nutritionally, and it's not such a battle at the dinner table every single time. Because if kids know they don't have to eat it, but they can just play with it and explore it, then they might be more inclined next time to maybe take the risk and try it out for themselves. In this video makes me laugh because it's so sweet. You have a dad who's playing word of the day with his daughter. I can tell this is routine at this point, and he made it into a game, but all the while making it fun to learn new vocabulary words. Like, how can you beat that? Kids, they need to learn new vocabulary words, right? Their lexical knowledge, but doing it in a way that is accessible and understandable for these kids. He nailed it. Now, here's what he did.
Today's word is enormous.
He said the word, then he gave a little bit of time because she copied him and said the word enormous. Now, it's one thing to hear it, but then also for her to say it with her own mouth, she's more likely gonna be able to remember it. You're building this connection. You see what I mean? Then he gave the definition in a way that she understood. Very big, very large in size. Now, by using words that she knows, she's only going to take the words big and large, and now she added another category to it. enormous. And now these get clumped together for her to understand that, oh, there are nuances in English, not just big and small to just describe everything, but there's other words. Next thing I really loved is that he used an example, like an elephant is enormous. And again, he used something that she already understands. Next, he asked 3 to 4 yes or no questions to kind of gauge her comprehension.
Is this pen enormous? No. Our house enormous? Yeah.
Just using the environment around them to incorporate and embed this new vocabulary word. At this point, she's heard this word enormous 10, 15 times. Now that's what it takes though, right? Because we can't just hear things once and then be done with it. She needs to apply it right then and there to actually learn it. So he did that really well. And to ask these yes or no questions is kind of testing her receptive language, her understanding, before asking her to come up with something on her own. This generation of an answer is expressive language. You can't have the expressive language without the receptive language. It usually is to build on the expressive, the speaking output, you need to build the receptive understanding vocabulary first. And he did this in such a way that was hierarchical and we as speech therapists implement. So it was done beautifully. And you can tell she actually understood because in this example, she said daddy's belly and I cracked up so hard. So this is a way that a parent showed his daughter love because he was giving her the words that she can use to better express herself in a day-to-day. For her to understand that there are nuances besides just big and small, hot and cold, she will come to understand that there are scales, and it's just going to equip her to use language in a more intentional way. So I'm thrilled for her, and I loved seeing this. For the last video, this is so sweet. We have a little girl named Summer and she is so adorable, and I just realized I kind of have the same hairstyle as her. That was not planned, by the way. She was so sweet and such a bright girl. They were having breakfast and she was saying, remember when I learned about healthcare? And she remembered what they talked about in a previous conversation. And it's just, I sometimes forget about how impressive children can be, that they are just literal sponges and they soak up everything around them, and you think that they might not be paying attention, but they really are. Mom was using words that were way beyond. So with vocabulary, there are 3 tiers, tier 1, 2, and 3. So tier 1 words are very common, basic, things that don't really require direct intervention, and words that don't have multiple meanings. So like phone, run, dog, cat, like these are words that they hear in their everyday environment. You can see it, you can touch it. It's very straightforward. Tier 2 words need explicit direct instruction because they come up very often in academics, like the word formulate, evaluate, assess. And then there's tier 3 words, which are words that don't come up very often, so they're low frequency and they're very, very content specific. So in this example, Mom used the word designation of healthcare surrogate. I mean, this is very, very specific tier 3 words that are used for her career as an attorney. For these parents to involve her in these adult conversations and not kind of downplay her intelligence and her capability, but rather facilitate that potential for her to grow, they're really doing her a favor here, in the sense that the more she knows, the better she's going to be as not even just as a student, but as a person. The amount of people that she can talk to, that horizon is just expanded because of what she knows. Give them that chance to show you what they can do, because you don't even know until you try, right? I mean, I think we as adults, we kind of forget that language is all learned and it's all of what the environment is giving. I think it's really cool that language in a sense is very arbitrary. There is no connection between the words and the meaning that they hold. Like, let's take cat for as an example. Long time ago, sometimes some people decided that the sequence of k, at, of the way that these sounds are being made with my mouth and my oral cavity. We just arbitrarily agreed somewhere down the line that cat means the furry animal that meows. In the same sense that 고양이 maybe to you doesn't mean anything, but between Korean speakers that means cat also. So basically in the sense that language is so arbitrary, and basically these sequences that we're making with our mouth can mean nothing and can mean something. Our kids are teachable and they're moldable. So to give them a chance by including them in adult conversations and building on their potential, I think that's key here. And if not that, then just adding on to whatever the kid says. If I were to give up an example here, if a kid puts a block down, then to see it, acknowledge it, and then add another block of your own. You know, that's all that conversation and this back and forth is taking what the kid is saying to you and then building onto it, adding onto it, you know, maybe looking at it from a different angle and kind of facilitating that for them. I showed you all of the ways that parents can show love to their children, or even teachers to students. It can go in either way, whoever, in a very general sense. But I know that in this month of February with Valentine's Day, there's a lot of focus on love between couples and romantic partners. But I also want us to remember that it's also a month that we can reflect and see how we can be better friends, better parents, better children, and how we can show love to everyone around us who we care about. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you liked it, please leave a thumbs up, please smash it, subscribe, leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.